Welcome to my channel Limelight Leaks. Please share and subscribe, and hit the bell icon for latest updates. When people talk about custom car TV shows, two names are super famous. Kindig Design in Salt Lake City, Utah, and Graveyard Carz in Springfield, Oregon. Both shops have lots of fans who love them. Both have their own TV shows, and both have changed what it means to build a car while millions of people watch. But even though they're both famous, they work in totally different ways. Kindig Design was started by Dave Kindig in 1999. It grew from a tiny garage into a fancy place that makes amazing cars. Dave used to draw pictures for a job and never went to car school, but he became famous for his big ideas, careful work, and never settling for okay cars. His shop makes cars that win contests. They start with old classic cars, but turn them into something completely new and different. They have perfect bodywork, shiny paint that looks like a mirror, and cool hidden technology. On TV, Kindig feels like a luxury store. Everything looks clean and organized, and the work flows smoothly. It's polished like fine art. Graveyard Carz started in 2011 and was much more rough around the edges. It was started by Worman, who knows everything about old Chrysler muscle cars. The show began because Mark wanted to save every rare Chrysler muscle car he could find, no matter how beaten up they were. The name tells you everything you need to know. These are dead cars that are often pulled from fields, old barns, or junkyards and brought back to look exactly like they did when they were brand new from a factory. Where Kindig loves to change things and make them different, Graveyard Carz cares about keeping things original and real. They use the exact same bolts and paint colors that the factory used way back then. The work takes longer, they obsess over tiny details, and they only focus on one type of car. This first part shows us how different these two shops really are. Kindig sells perfect cars to people who have lots of money and want something nobody else has. Graveyard Carz fixes up old cars for people who love Mopar cars and think keeping them original is super important. Two shops, two different ways of thinking, and one big question. Which way is really the best way to build custom cars? At the heart of both shops are two men whose big ideas have shaped not only their businesses, but also how people see them on TV. Dave Kindig has neat hair, wears fancy suits, and always looks calm and confident. He shows the image of a high-end designer. He's not just building cars, he's building a famous brand. Since he used to design graphics and pictures, Dave sees a car like a blank piece of paper to draw on. To him, the lines, shapes, and colors matter just as much as how fast the car can go. When you watch him on Bitchin' Rides, you see this image. He's the guy with the big ideas, helping his team of experts turn his drawings into real cars. Worman, on the other hand, looks and acts like the perfect example of an old-school car guy. He usually wears a t-shirt or work jacket, and his hair is a bit messy. Mark doesn't care about looking flashy. He cares about getting the facts right. He's like a walking encyclopedia of Mopar cars. He's the kind of builder who can tell you VIN codes and factory details without even looking at a book. Where Dave loves changing a car into something the factory never thought of, Mark feels happy when he erases time itself. He makes a 50-year-old car look like it just came off a Chrysler assembly line yesterday. The way they lead their teams is different too. Dave runs Kindig like a design company, organized, focused on customers, and caring about image. Mark's shop feels more like a restoration war room, loud, unfiltered, and full of friendly teasing. Both ways work for the people they serve. But the difference between them is why this rivalry is so interesting. It's not just about cars. It's about what drives the men who build them. If there's one word that describes Kindig, it's perfect. Dave Kindig has built his reputation on taking any make or model Ford, Chevy, Dodge, you name it, and turning it into a showpiece that looks custom but also timeless. Every build starts with a vision, often drawn by Dave himself. From there, his team of metal workers, body guys, painters, and seat makers does every step with almost obsessive precision. The shop is known for its Kindig smooth look. Clean body lines with hidden seams, glass that sits perfectly flush, and door handles that are shaved off. Paint work is what Kindig is famous for. deep glassy finishes that win awards at SEMA and Goodyear shows. And while the cars look classic, they're often hiding modern engines, electronics, and suspension systems underneath. Dave's way of thinking is simple. A car should look like it belongs in its time period, but drive like it just left the showroom today. It's also a brand that loves reinvention. Kindig doesn't stick to one brand or one style. They'll customize a 53 Corvette one month and a 70 Dodge Challenger the next. This ability to work on different cars gives them broad appeal, but it also means their work sometimes gets criticism from purists who believe a classic should stay untouched. Still, for customers who want rolling artwork with every inch made perfect, Kindig remains the gold standard. While Kindig moves across different brands and decades, Graveyard Carz focuses like a laser on one thing: Mopar muscle cars. To Mark Worman, these aren't just cars. They're pieces of American history. The shop's projects often start in the most hopeless condition you can imagine. Rusted frames, missing parts, wrecked bodies. Many arrive in such poor shape that casual observers would write them off as scrap metal. But Mark and his crew see potential where others see ruin. Every restoration at Graveyard is a history lesson. The team researches original factory build sheets, tracks down date-coded parts, and even uses paint techniques from that time period. For Mark, there's no such thing as close enough. If a car rolled off the line with a specific shade of plum crazy purple in 1970, then that's exactly what it will wear when it leaves the shop. No changes, no creative liberties. This commitment to keeping things authentic has made Graveyard Carz a safe place for Mopar fans worldwide. Collectors send cars from all over the globe knowing Mark will return them to exactly the way they were when new. The downside is this obsessive approach takes time, sometimes years, and can limit how many cars the shop can finish. But for those who believe history should be preserved, not reinvented, Graveyard Carz is sacred ground. Graveyard Carz operates more like an archaeological dig. Each car is carefully documented from the moment it arrives. The crew takes everything apart, putting every bolt and bracket in bags with tags. If an original part is too damaged to save, they search endlessly for a date-correct replacement, sometimes looking through swap meets or making trades with other Mopar collectors. They don't cut corners, even if it means delaying completion for months, while waiting for a specific carburetor or trim piece. At Kindig, reinvention is the goal. At Graveyard Carz, preservation is the mission. One shop asks, how can we make this car better than new? The other asks, how can we make this car exactly like new? Both answers require skill and passion, but they demand totally different ways of thinking. Walking into Kindig Design feels like stepping into a high-end design firm. The floors are clean, the lighting is perfect, and every car being worked on looks like it's already halfway to the show floor. The environment is professional, almost peaceful, with Dave's calm leadership setting the tone. There's still plenty of friendship between workers, but the focus is on maintaining a customer-first, image-perfect atmosphere that matches the high-end brand Dave has built. By contrast, Graveyard Carz has the vibe of a family garage that just happens to work on six-figure restorations. The Springfield shop is loud, filled with laughter, arguments, and good-natured teasing, often caught on camera. Mark Worman runs it with a mix of authority and humor, and his longtime crew members often feel more like relatives than employees. That family feeling, while endearing to viewers, can also lead to on-screen tension and behind-the-scenes debates about pace, process, and priorities. Kindig is a polished machine. Graveyard is a passionate tribe. Each culture attracts a different kind of worker and a different kind of client. Money plays a huge role in how both shops operate, but their approaches couldn't be more different. Kindig design builds are expensive, often starting in the low six figures and climbing well into the high hundreds of thousands. Clients know they're paying for more than just labor and materials. They're buying Dave's vision, the brand prestige, and the promise that their car will be a showstopper. These customers are often collectors, business owners, or car lovers with deep pockets who value style and exclusivity. Graveyard Carz also handles high-value projects, but the money side is different. Because they specialize in historically important Mopars, the cars themselves can be worth hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions, once restored. Clients often own these cars already and are investing in their historical accuracy to maximize value at auction or preserve a piece of muscle car history. Mark's careful process can mean fewer projects per year, but the payoff is in authenticity, not volume. Kindig sells dreams reimagined. Graveyard sells history preserved. Both make money, but the path to profit and the type of client willing to write the check is totally different. Both shops have had builds that not only defined their reputations, but also became calling cards for their respective styles. At Kindig Design, one standout is the 1953 Corvette CF1, a complete reimagining of a classic icon. Dave's team didn't just restore it, they rebuilt it from the ground up with modern materials, upgraded suspension, and a custom LS engine, while keeping the soul of the original. Their Hemi Cuda projects have become almost legendary in the Mopar world, with Mark obsessing over correct stampings, paint codes, and factory assembly techniques. Even more impressive are the Barn Find Rescue's B-body muscle cars pulled from decades of decay and brought back to showroom condition. The contrast is stark. Kindig builds are artistic reinterpretations. Graveyard builds are time capsules. Both are masterpieces, but they serve very different audiences. Each shop's greatest strength is also, in some ways, its weakness. For Kindig Design, the strength lies in flawless execution and the ability to make any car, regardless of its make or year, look like it just rolled out of a billionaire's private collection. The finish quality is unmatched, and their ability to merge classic styling with modern performance is second to none. But some critics say Kindig cars can feel too perfect, lacking the quirks and imperfections that give vintage cars their personality. Graveyard Carz, on the other hand, has an unrivaled depth of knowledge and skill when it comes to Mopars. Their restorations are often considered museum grade, making them indispensable for collectors who care about authenticity. Yet their singular focus on Mopars limits variety, and their slower pace can frustrate clients who want their cars back in months, not years. Kindig can sometimes be accused of building for awards and Instagram likes. Graveyard can be accused of building for themselves first and the customer second. Both criticisms carry some truth, but neither shop's loyal fans see them as deal breakers. So perfection or passion? The truth is there's no universal winner. It depends entirely on what the client values most. If you want a car that will turn heads at SEMA, win trophies at national shows, and stand as a testament to cutting-edge design, Kindig Design is the clear choice. They can take any make, any model, and transform it into a one-off piece of rolling art. If you own a historically significant Mopar and your priority is factory-correct restoration down to the placement of every bolt, Graveyard Carz is unmatched. Mark Worman's obsession ensures your car is not only authentic, but as close to its original showroom condition as physically possible. In the end, both shops build legends. Kindig cars live in the future. Graveyard Carz live in the past. And maybe that's the real beauty of the custom car world. There's room for both visions to thrive, each appealing to a different kind of dreamer.